Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. Hope you guys having a suaveless day.
Yeah, and with that, let's commence to pay.
Okay, I'm so suavelous, you so suavelous.
Together we can fix the trauma that's befallen us.
Divine social interactions remains marvelous.
Mind-blowing, suavelicious talk, higher consciousness. But think, let not your hearts be troubled. Dr. Brother Suave,
divine light getting dull.
Greetings, this is Dr. Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, creator, divine social therapist, and your host of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Listen, this is a very, very beautiful Wednesday, September 27, 2023. I just thank God for waking me up to see another day I never seen before, another day to get it right, and another day to tell my friends and family members and those I love and respect, I love them. And thank you for tuning in for another episode of Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. Listen, welcome to Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave as we continue my second year on Life After the Gridiron. Last year, man, we had a great guest last year. And this year, oh my God, we just trying to step it up. The first week we had Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl champion Lionel Dalton. Last week we had All-Pro offensive tackle Leon Searcy. And this week, I'm gonna tell you, we bringing it home. This week we have the great, and I say great, legendary Miami Dolphin, Booker T graduate, Bethune-Cookman alumni, NFL Hall of Famer, Larry Little. Listen, tell your friends and family members to be sure to log in and tell their friends and family, because we're going to be setting it off tonight. Tell all your associates, because we want you to have the opportunity to share this rare inside moment in the mind and the life of the former NFL Titan. That's right, I said NFL Titan, because that's exactly what I mean. And y'all know when I say something, that's what I mean. So listen, this dominant offensive guard is the only team from the back in the day, even today, to go undefeated with the Miami Dolphins. And then not just that, they win the Super Bowl. He was introduced into the this year's NFL Hall of Famer. This Miami native and Bethune-Cookman graduate, and Booker T Washington graduate here in Miami, Florida. Listen, this is home team made. You know, he was a 2-time NFL Super Bowl champion, a 5-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl selection. He was on the NFL 1970 All-Decade team. This Miami, he was on the Miami Dolphin Honor Roll, the Miami Dolphin Walk of Fame, the MEAC Coach of the Year. So without further ado, let's welcome the great and talented and the almighty Larry Little. Welcome.
Good evening. Great being here tonight.
Yes, and it is great. It's definitely not good, but great. And I that's the voice and the words of a champion. Great. So thank you so much. Hey, so see, this is what champions say. They don't just say good, they say great, because you know great is it's way above good. You know, good is average. And when the kind of credentials you have, that does not say great. And then when you make it to the Hall of Famer, I mean, that doesn't say good, that says great. So you're one of the greatest ever done it.
I appreciate that, you know, especially with my upbringing.
Yeah.
Going over town in Miami, going to Booker T Washington High School in Miami, I would probably, if they were voted at that time, I would probably be the most unlikely to succeed. And I proved a lot of people wrong. I wasn't very good. In ninth grade, when I went out for football, um, every other ninth grader quit because the Booker T at that time was from 7th to 12th grade. And every other ninth grader quit but me. And I was beating up these older guys, 19, 20 years old, and people telling me I would never be any good, and I stuck with it, and hoping that one day I could become a better football player, and evidently I did.
Absolutely, and became one of the best that ever did it.
Thank you.
So when you was playing back in high school, how was y'all? Was y'all winners? Y'all was a dominant team? I mean, how was y'all?
Well, we weren't the Booker T of the day.
Okay.
We, I think from ninth grade to 12th grade when I played, we won 10 games in 4 years. And those 4 out of those games that we won was my senior year. We won 4 games. So we were not a very good football team for a long time in Booker T, Washington. But before us, there were some great teams in Booker T. But things kind of went downhill and we weren't very good. And Northwestern became great.
Yeah.
Carver became great. But we were stuck right there in that quandary, and we were not great.
Now, this is a question maybe off subject, but when Booker T was existing back when you was in school, did North Dade have a football team?
North Dade, I think they came our senior year, my senior year at North Dade, and we didn't play North Dade during that time, but going to Bethune-Cookman, I met a lot of guys that were on that team.
They did have a team. Okay.
And become lifelong friends.
Okay. So speaking of the winning percentage, did that open or hurt your chances to get a chance to go into any major schools? Did any major schools recruit you? Like University of Miami, Michigan, Notre Dame? Did any of those schools recruit you?
Well, during those days, it was during the Jim Crow area.
Oh, okay.
And it was mainly the area. I mean, I didn't say area, I mean gray area. And I was not recruited by any predominantly what called in white schools, but I was recruited from what we called the major black schools at that time. I was not recruited, I mean, like the Grambling, the Southern, the Tennessee State, the FAMUs. I only had 2 scholarships coming out of high school.
Okay.
One was Bethune-Cookman, and the other was St. Augustine College in Raleigh, North Carolina. And at the age of 17, I had to make a decision which school I wanted to go to. The problem was my family, if I had gone to St. Augustine, my family couldn't have brought me home during the short holidays like Thanksgiving and holidays like that. So I chose Bethune-Cookman. And the ironic part about it, I made a decision. All my best friends were going to St. Augustine. I made a decision to go to Bethune-Cookman.
Okay.
My senior year, St. Augustine dropped football. And if I had gone to St. Augustine, you wouldn't be talking to me right now.
Wow.
Because I probably wouldn't have signed with a professional football team. But I made a choice at age 17 to go to Bethune-Cookman, and luckily I was signed. I wasn't drafted. I was signed as a free agent.
Wow, this is so incredible when you hear about, I have this quote. I said, "Exception is what exception does, not what exception says." So I'm with all my friends and associates, and I'm like, all these people who was not first round draft choice, free agents, and their route was so unconventional based on our perception of how the road to the NFL, and y'all end up being the best of the best.
Well,
mean,
I wasn't drafted
mm-hmm,
out of Bethune-Cookman.
mm-hmm,
I was a free agent.
yeah,
I was scouted by some teams.
mm-hmm,
And in fact, a couple of teams told me I would be drafted. And during those days, you had like maybe 20 draft picks. And with me
yes,
being the captain of the football team at Bethune-Cookman, the phone booth was right next to my room. And I sat next to that room all day, not letting anybody use that phone booth, waiting on a phone call that would come. A phone call that never came.
mm-hmm,
So, I was disappointed.
yes.
Then a day later, I got a phone call from the Baltimore coach.
Oh, okay.
The coach at the Baltimore coach at the time was a guy by the name of Don Shula.
Yes, he did. Yes.
But I asked for a bonus. Now, the scout that came, I said, how much would your bonus be? He said, well, we don't give free agent bonuses. Oh, okay. The next day, I got a call from the San Diego Chargers. And I asked the scout the same thing. How much would the bonus be if I come to San Diego? He said, oh, well, Larry, we'll give you $750. And I jumped to that. The next day, I got a call from the Miami Dolphins,
Okay.
Joe Thomas. And Joe said, Larry, how would you like to being from Miami?
Mm-hmm.
How would you like to come back home and play for the Miami Dolphins? I said, well, I would love to come back home to play for the Dolphins. I said, but Joe, how much were you going to give me? He said, oh, we're going to give you $500. I said, well, Joe, I'm signing with San Diego for $750. That's how I got with the San Diego Chargers. 2 years later, after playing in San Diego for 2 years, I got a phone call that I was traded to the Miami Dolphins by my high school teammate by the name of Mac Lamb. Mac was with the Dolphins, and I was with the Chargers. And we got the phone call the same day. And in fact, I informed Mac that he had been traded to San Diego. And Mac, oh man, we'll be teammates again, right? I said, no, Mac, you were traded for me. And my coach in San Diego, who was Sid Gilman, called it a nothing for nothing deal. Hey, because I said some harsh words to Sid Gilman, and I was in San Diego, and started with an F word, said. And all the other guys said, man, you'll be out of here next year. Just cussed out the old man.
Mm-hmm.
True enough, I was traded to the Miami Dolphins, traded back home, and Mac was going to San Diego. But Sid called it a nothing for nothing deal. And in my Hall of Fame speech in 1993, I thank Sid Gilman for giving me the opportunity to play professional football and to trade me to the Miami Dolphins.
It's always some sunlight out of darkness. It's crazy how these stories, they come, man. And again, had that not happened, something that could have made you feel a certain kind of way, it was the biggest blessing for you. It worked out perfectly.
Well, it did, but at the beginning, I was really disappointed because I love San Diego. As a matter of fact, I was getting to make my home in San Diego. But, it's 1969 when I came to Miami. Well, the Dolphins was an expansion team at that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in 1969, my first year with Miami, we were 3-10-1. 1970, there was a guy that came to Miami to be the head coach by the name of Don Shula.
Mm-hmm.
And my first year in Shula in Miami, we made the playoffs. We were 10-4. The next year, we went to the Super Bowl and were beaten by the
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys. The next year, and there was a bitter feeling that we lost to the Cowboys. The next year, we started winning game after game after game after game, and just kept on winning until we won 17 straight games. And being the only undefeated team in NFL history.
Yes.
So, and then the next year we only lost 2 games.
Yeah.
We were 35-2 in 2 years. So, I mean, I think that was a pretty impressive record.
Yeah. And considering what happened this year, it could have set another record.
Hey,
I mean, I think politics on that.
This team is kind of frightening right now. What the teams are playing.
Yeah, but you know, and my theory is that when you came, that's why they went undefeated. It was because of you. I just how I feel about it. Is because when you came to the Dolphins, that's why they went undefeated.
Well, you know, there were 2 guys that came in 1969 that were traded to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And we both ended up being captains. I was the black captain.
Oh.
From 1971 until I retired. The other was Nick Monaconny.
Yes.
Nick came from the New England the Boston Patriots at the time.
Yes.
And Nick was the captain. And that's when the 2 of us kind of like turned this program around on offense.
Yeah.
And I turned around on defense. And Nick turned around on defense.
See? You was that je ne sais quoi, you know, you was there, and they didn't know, but you knew. So after playing this, you know, coming, because San Diego, the weather is just like Miami pretty much, is it not? The humidity is different. I said the weather in San Diego is pretty much like Miami, with the exception of humidity, right?
That's why I wanted to live in San Diego.
It's just so far, but
the weather in San Diego was perfect.
Yes.
Compared to Miami. I mean, you know, we didn't have no heat wave, like especially like what we've had this year. See, the temperatures being in 100 degrees. Though I love San Diego.
Yes, I was down there in June. Well, in Miami, it was hot.
Oh,
like
yes.
100 something, man. I just couldn't take it. So after you played for the Dolphins, did you play for any other team, or you retired out of the Dolphins?
I did. Miami was the only other team I played for. Yes, I ended my career in Miami.
Okay, so ending your career, did you have any injuries? Any injuries that you know bother you today?
Well, I put it this way. After playing 14 years in professional football, I got out the game pretty healthy, but I did end up having a hip replacement. And my grandchildren say, I don't walk anymore, I wobble.
Oh.
But I'm no spring chicken. I'll be 70 in November, I'll be 78 years old. But no, I haven't had any injuries to carry me over from my football days where I was incapacitated or right at this point had to walk with a walker or a cane. And in fact, I went to my 60th high school reunion this year. To see all these people in my class walking with canes or walking. I said to myself, damn, I'm lucky. You know, I don't need a cane. I did have a cane when I had my surgery. Yeah, but I don't need a cane to walk with now or walk. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, well,
I had some health issues, you know, heart problems, prostate problems, but you know, by the grace of God, I'm still around.
Yeah, especially all that contact and being an interior lineman on that line is constant interaction, constant contact, and again, I've known a lot of NFLers. And man, they're way, you know, younger than me or my age and have a lot of health issues. and I'm talking about physical health issues. You know,
Exactly.
I mean,
And not only physical, mental also.
yes, because I was just going to go into that because
Yeah.
I was going to go into that, but I'm glad you address it. So as you transition out of the game, at any time did you say, well, I think I could play another year, me go to another team and try to go to Super Bowl, or you were just trying to figure out what you want to do with yourself, or did you have any issues with any mental health or depression, saying, man, what can I do now?
After 14 years playing professional football, I was ready to get out.
Okay.
I mean, going through the 2-a-day practice, especially how hard we worked in Miami for Don Shula.
I heard he was
ready to get out after 14 years. And, and I went into different things in my career. As a matter of fact, I just retired actually from working January the 13th, 2022. I got into coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, I got into coaching. I coached for 16 years. Coached 9 years at my alma mater, Bethune-Cookman.
Okay.
Won 2 MEAC championships there in 1984 and 1988.
Okay.
And then I coached World League in the World League of American Football 1 year.
Which
I
team
was
did
the first African American coach to coach in that league. Art Shell was a good friend of mine, was the first African American in the NFL.
Yes.
And I was the first African American in the World Football League.
Wow.
And after that year, they were moving all the teams to Europe. And I didn't want to go to Europe because I didn't want to because they shut the league down in America. And I didn't want to go to Europe. And I didn't want to leave my family to go to Europe. So then I got a job at North Carolina Central University.
Okay.
I was the head football coach there for 6 years. And I got tired of coaching because I had some issues with the athletic director at the North Carolina Central. That's when I moved back to Miami.
Okay.
Then we had an indoor team here in Miami.
The Hooters.
People talked me into getting that. I don't know what the hell I did. But I
Rudy.
did that for like 9 games, and I said, I'm out.
Oh, man. You was in the AC.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yes. So you was there when Jim Jensen was playing for the Hooters?
No, I was at the gym.
Oh, right after
the World League. Jim had another team. In fact, a former Dolphin was the owner of that team, indoor football, was Rondé Gatson. And Rondé called me about being the head coach, and I accepted it. Wow. But I had coached against Rondé when he was playing at Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
And I was coaching. He was playing there, and I was coaching at North Carolina Central.
Yes.
I love that. I got that relationship with Rondé.
Yes. That's crazy that you brought. I love his story, how he got into the NFL. And to me, he was great. He had them hands. Not no speed, but he had those hands.
I knew that because I played against him. I knew the hands that he had. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And so, so when you did your coaching, did you get involved in the local high schools at any time?
No, no high school. I went into being almost like what you call a counselor at another school until I retired there. I retired in 3 different jobs.
Okay.
Retired from playing, retired from coaching, and retired from coaching into the school system here in Miami.
Okay. Yes. So, man, playing football and still getting involved into different levels of coaching, and that had to be something, did you ever find, because, coaches and being great players, sometimes I always heard it was hard for them to coach. Did you find it a challenge for you?
Well, when I first got into coaching, I was always spending my time with the offensive line.
Yeah.
But then I said to myself, I said, wait a minute, these guys can't beat you. So I put all of my time with the entire team, not with the offensive line, because I knew these young men, they were on their level, would never be another Larry Little. So I didn't really get involved in, I had offensive line coaches.
Okay.
I would give them ideas sometimes, but it's not as far as being on top of the offensive line all the time. No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. We always hear it. Like I saw when Michael Jordan, when he was transiting, I remember he was a player coach and he was so hard on Rip Hamilton. And then you always hear these great players just have a challenging time being a coach because they say, because it was easy for them, but they assume it would be easy for the players. And,
Exactly.
and these are young in their career. You know, who's to say they even go to the next level? So it could be a lot of challenges. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people praise Deion for, is saying he's just really patient and loving as a coach.
Exactly.
Yeah. So listen, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a commercial break, and then we'll come right back and continue our programming.
Okay.
Right. Suave afternoon, Suave afternoon, Suave afternoon. This is Brother Suave, your mind-blowing, thought-provoking, and eye-opening on-air personality, life coach, psychotherapist, author, and creator. So it is so many benefits to being proactive. I remember during the recession, you know, I would hear people saying, listen, I need a job. And they wouldn't hire people who need it. And the person, they hired a person who had a job and they applied for another job as opposed to, I don't have a job. And
That's time to look for a job is when you already have one.
Yes. And again, Brother Frederick was saying this, I try not to get so caught up on religious philosophy and how spiritual are, but a foundation is so important because it gives you some morals and values. No matter if you're a Muslim, a Catholic, or a Jehovah's Witness, or a Christian, or a Baptist, or whatever, you have to have respect. You can't do that. You can't do that stuff. You know, and so we teach them emotional intelligence, teach them how to think about things before they react. Can't be impulsive. These are some of the learned behaviors as you listen. Just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you. I mean it. Bye-bye.
Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBlister Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPN TV from viewers like you. Thank you. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave and a very special guest, Hall of Famer Larry Little. How you doing, Larry? So you playing 14 years in the league, and so you won a lot of awards. So having these 5-time first team All Pro, that had to be something, because you're talking about back then it was like 28 teams, and you got all these players. These are great players to be in the NFL starting, and you end up being a 5-time first team Hall of Famer. I mean,
well, you know, I took a lot of pride in what I was doing. During the time I was playing, there were some great guards doing it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Gene Upshaw, Oakland Raiders at the time. Jody Lawman, Lear, Tom Mack, but I prided myself in being the best at what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any guard, I mean, either before me with the old not Pittsburgh, the Green Bay Packers, with Jerry Kramer, Fuzzy Thurston, but I prided myself in trying to be, although we were all to get around the same time, I prided myself in being better than all of those guys.
Okay.
One year I had a roast in Daytona Beach when I was coaching at Bethune, because I did coach 2 years. And Upshaw, Gene came to be on the program. And he made the Hall of Fame before I did.
Mm-hmm.
And on my roast, I say, Uppy, I should have been in the Hall of Fame before you. So he didn't take that too well, but it was the truth.
Yeah. So,
I prided myself in actually not only about myself, our offensive line with the Dolphins, probably the best offensive line to ever play professional football.
Yeah.
2 of us are in the Hall of Fame. Jim Langer, the center, and myself, the right guard. And a lot of people feel that Bob Kuchenberg should be in the Hall of Fame also. So I know we were the best middle center and 2 guards. But Norm Evans made the Pro Bowl 1 year, played next to me. And Wayne Moore, my old roommate, he made the Pro Bowl also. So 5 of us played in the Pro Bowl at least one time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, being a player and a dominant lineman you were, who would you think one of the most challenging opposition you had? Hey, look. I wrote me and Joe Green. See, you see it right there? I was going to say, was he like the toughest? Because I heard he was pretty tough. So with him.
Yeah, Joe and I had our battles.
Yeah, tell us about the battles.
Part of the profanity, but I wasn't gonna let Joe kick my ass.
Because he warmed a lot of butt in his career. So
in fact, I have a book coming out, but I've got a lot of changes in the book because I saw some things I didn't like in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe mentioned that I was one of the guys that he played in front of. And the guy talked to Joe about us playing against each other. But Joe was great. He was great. And then, and Curly Culp, that played for the Chiefs and the Houston Oilers, was probably the strongest guy that I played in front of. And then going into the Cincinnati Bengals with Mike Reed. And Mike Reed was a white guy, but he was the quickest guy that I played against. And I had to have my A game ready
when it comes
to any of those guys to play against them.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I was wondering, who was your toughest challenger? Me, Joe Green, because so he honored you because he know that you were the one who gave him, made him work for his money.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yes,
no doubt.
Yes. So I heard you earlier when you was mentioning Hall of Fame. Was that Dolphin Hall of Fame or College Hall of Fame?
Man, I have about 9 different Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because the reason is because I'm like, I know you, because and I know this is probably not necessarily part of your career, but when I saw, I was looking on, how you just go on Facebook, and I just happened to see my cousin. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's Eddie, that's Connie. Wait a minute, what are they there with Larry? We find out we family. I mean, wow.
Married to my sister.
Yes, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but I'll just mention the Hall of Fame that I'm into because I have more. I'm into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm into the Florida Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I'm in the Black College Hall of Fame. Okay. And just this past weekend in Gainesville, I was inducted into the Florida High School Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Because I played during the Jim Crow era. when they didn't recognize the black schools, and now they're recognizing the guys that played during those eras. And I was in that was inducted this past Sunday in Gainesville.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. That's really nice. So you're a Hall of Fame veteran around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know many more. It's more to it. I just can't name them all right now.
Yes. That was something else. So so when you finally got into the Hall of Fame, how many years passed by you? Like, when are they gonna call me? Is that something that, like, yo, I mean, I'm one of the best. I'm one of the greatest. What's taking them so long to call? Did you ever have those thoughts?
No doubt. My biggest question, when I was out of the league for 11 years, my biggest question was, why did it take so long?
Yes.
When I get into the Hall of Fame? Because normally you have to be out 5 years. And I felt that I was just as good as people. In fact, my center, Jim Langer, went into the Hall of Fame before I went in there. And I always questioned that, because I was the first offensive lineman of the year to make 3 years in a row offensive lineman of the year. And I questioned, how could he be in before me? But you know how that goes sometimes. You know how it goes. Yeah, I don't want to say it.
Yeah,
but, but Jim was a great player now, no doubt. But I didn't see him
You're
going
not taking credit from it, just that
I didn't see him going in before me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. You didn't see them, so that had to be a great moment for you. But it was just
and the year I went in, it was probably the best class to ever go into the Hall of Fame together. I'll call them off for you.
Yes, call him, please.
One was Dan Fouts with the San Diego Chargers.
Yes, I remember him.
The other was Bill Walsh, the coach with the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yes.
The next was Chuck Noll, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The other was Walter Sweetness Payton. And the next one was Larry Little. 5 of us went in together.
Yeah. That was a great
class better than that one.
Yes. Y'all had some winners. But again, going to the Hall of Fame, it's always going to be some great ones.
You know something else too?
I'm listening.
4 of the 5 of us went through San Diego.
Wait,
South played with the Chargers. Chuck Noll was an assistant with the Chargers. Bill Walsh was an assistant with the Chargers. And I was a player for the Chargers. The only one that didn't have any time with the Chargers was Walter Payton.
Let me see. When did he come to the league? Was y'all in college during
Walter? I can't recall when Walter came into the league, but he was a great one, Sweetness.
Yes. So blocking. So how was because you played with Zonka, correct? Because he was there. How was he as a team player? Because I used to see him on TV shows and he do them little movies while he was playing. So how was he as a player?
Oh, Zonk was great. I mean, he was probably the hardest person to tackle in the history of the NFL as far as going straight ahead.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had to block for him.
Yeah.
Open holes for him. If not, he would have put that head in my back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to block for Mercury.
Oh, yes.
Mercury Mars. And I know I had to have speed on our sweeps to get out in front of Mercury. And I was probably known as one of the biggest, fastest guards during those years. And then we had another back by the name of Jim Kick.
Yes.
Jim was a great runner. In fact, we were the first team in the 1972 to have 2,000-yard rushes in the NFL.
Wow.
Mercury and Zonk both gained 1,000 yards in 1972 in that undefeated year. Yeah. And Jim gained over 500 yards. We had over so many guys get years that year, and
y'all,
all
y'all,
our offensive line.
what they call it, y'all had running back by committee before running back committee was in, because that's what they do in the NFL now.
Exactly. Well, it's always mainly the fullback, but MEAC and Kick alternated with each other.
Yes, but y'all had a committee of great running backs. You know, they could probably went somewhere else and started.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so, excuse me. So what? Because now, tell me, as a player, because Don Shula, his reputation, he was hard. He was hard, and then playing in Florida weather or Miami weather, it had to be some challenges. I remember when I was a kid, y'all used to practice out the I forgot, it's called Biscayne College back then.
Biscayne College.
Yes. So, but they did have a lot of trees out there, though, huh?
I'll put it this way. In 1970 was the first major strike in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
We came to camp. That was Shula's first year in Miami in 70. Mm-hmm. We came to camp on that Sunday. We broke the strike. And we were sitting in a meeting that Sunday night, and Shula started reading off the schedule. Mm-hmm. He said, we're going to practice. We'll be at the practice at 7:30 in the morning. We'll be back in the practice, be on the practice field at 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll be back on the practice field at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then we'll be back on the practice field again at 7:30. I said, what? Four times a day. 4 times. Well, 2 of those were in shorts and 2 in pads, but mentally, it still could get to you. I'm gonna tell you a story that every time I told him that, he laughed because he didn't believe me. On the 3rd day of practice, I told my roommate at the time, he said, you know what? I'm not gonna let this fool kill me. The 3rd day of practice, I said, man, I'm going down tomorrow.
Going down.
About 11:30 that morning, about 11 o'clock that morning, I started reeling. And I hit the ground, passed out. And they came out there with the station wagon, put me in the station wagon. Uh-huh. And I was in the station wagon, taking me to the locker room. I had one eye open and one eye closed. And when they got me in the locker room, they started packing me in ice because they thought I was having a heat stroke. They started packing me in ice. And I said, oh, hell. I got the playing Port B with Palm B. When they started packing me in ice, I jumped up because I got cold, like I was having a hallucination, throwing ice all over the place. They took me to the hospital, and they had to see all kind of doctors. See what was wrong with me. Until they found an internist, and the doctor told me, he said, Larry, ain't nothing wrong with you. Not a damn thing wrong with you. I said, well, doc, you got to find something wrong with me. He said, well, you do have a slight sinus problem. You know, let me write that down there.
You know? Write something down. You got to go back to John Shula.
So every time I coached Shoot before he passed away, I faked it on him. Nah, he laughed. Nah, I got you. Yeah, coach, you didn't get me. I got you.
Yeah.
But you know, that was during the days when we had 6 preseason games, and after those 4 days, we had 4 more weeks of 3 days a week. And then we finally got into the regular season. But we were the hardest working team in football, no doubt.
Yeah, I heard he was a pretty hard coach, you know,
especially in Miami, in this heat in Miami.
And yes, and I mean, I guess that's why he's a legend, you know,
no doubt.
Yes. So, man, having your career, make it to the Hall of Fame, So did you, as a player who's retired and done all the things you've done, has it been anything that you say, if you had to do it over, would you have done something else besides football?
No, I love playing the game. I started playing, like I said earlier, I started playing not organized football when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Only ninth graders still on the team that did not quit. I love playing the game. Although I wasn't very good, but I just love playing the game of football. Because growing up before then, I played in the street of hard knocks. We played the guys I was playing with played any vacant lot with glass on the field, tackle football, with glass on the field, rocks on the field.
Yep.
That's the way we did it. In overtime in Miami.
Yeah. And so if I'm not mistaken, back in the day when you was playing, they did have a couple of football players. How you doing, Brother Wally? They got into professional wrestling on the part-time. Okay, when you were in the league, did you guys have any professional football players that decided to try professional wrestling on a part-time basis as a result?
No, because there were no professional football teams hardly when I was playing. They were all not in the South. Only team, the closest team to the South was the Washington Redskins. And they knew in those days, they didn't have no blacks on the team until Bobby Mitchell came to play for the Washington Redskins. Most of the teams were in the North. The southernmost team was the Washington Redskins. Those were the only games we were getting in Miami when the Washington Redskins played.
Okay. Well, maybe my question, maybe I didn't say it loud enough. Like any football players got into professional wrestling, because I was hearing that the pay wasn't always so high. So a lot of football players got into professional wrestling on a part-time basis.
No. What I would see when they played during the days when I was growing up, they had the runner-up bowl in Miami. The team that didn't win the championship, they came down to play in the Orange Bowl. And that's when I was able to see, I would go out to the Orange Bowl and see professional football players, that played in the Orange Bowl. But you got to realize too, when I was growing up, the only game that we would see was the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have, and we can sit in the stands at the University of Miami football games. We sat in the bleachers in the end zone.
Yeah.
Only time we could sit in the stands in the Orange Bowl during the Jim Crow era was the when FAMU would come down to play in the Orange Blossom Classic.
Yes.
Other than that, we had to sit in the bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
In the east end of the bleachers. We got tickets for the game to the high schools, but we never were able, because of segregation, sit in the stand. We had to sit in the bleachers. And I could walk from my house, to the Orange Bowl growing up.
Yes. It was, like I said, you've been through, you done seen the changes. And what's your opinion about the kind of money these offensive tackles are making now? These tackles are making a killing. They're like one of the highest paid, other than the quarterback.
My first contract with the San Diego Chargers, my bonus actually was $750.
Yes.
My first contract with the San Diego Chargers was $12,500. And during those days, you had what they call the practice squad now. We call the Cavs squad back in the day. And I didn't make the team, was on the regular roster for the first 4 games. So when you subtract that or add that or whatever, I wasn't getting a full contract of $12,500.
Yeah.
So I think in being in San Diego, California, I may have made my rookie year $7,500. because of the state tax in California
It's
and
higher.
the federal income tax in the United States. I may have made that much money. I wasn't even able to afford to buy a car my rookie year. And when I came back to Miami during the off season, I had to find a job.
Yeah.
Back in those days, I had to find a job. Compared to these guys nowadays, make $12,000 a minute, or maybe a second.
Yes.
Compared to what we made back in the day.
Yes.
But I don't have any problem with it because they deserve it.
Yes.
And I'm quite sure I made more than the guys before me back in the early days of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have any problem with them making that much money. I know I'll call it ugly money, but it's money, good money,
Yeah. Because I remember talking to my guy where he told me his first contract was like $24,000. And I'm like, wait, hold on.
Well, I was the first offensive lineman to make over $100,000 later on in my career. Yeah.
Wait. And they took that loan to put you in the NFL Hall of Fame?
Yeah. And then my last contract was $132,000, my last contract.
And they took that loan. That means you was great coming in, throughout, and leaving.
Well, it was. Yeah, I don't like to call it, but you know what it was.
Yes, we know, man. This is one thing about you can pull up information as much as you can, but it's nothing like hearing it from the person's voice. Right. Hearing it from you, because it's like so many things that you can't pull from you. And these little things, man, this was incredible. I'm honored. Just want to also just one of my friends, Basil Proctor, told me to tell you hi. He told me to tell you hi. And so I just want to tell you, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for joining us on Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. I really appreciate this, man. I really appreciate it. So
I enjoyed it. You guys have a great evening.
All right, and just remember, great minds reach great places. Tune in every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. And just remember, great minds reach great places. I love you and mean it. Bye-bye.
Tune in and stream live now. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, is now being broadcast on NPN Voice. NPN Voice can be found on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and now on Audible and Amazon Music, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave, the podcast, now on NPN Voice. NPN Voice. Got voice. You heard?